Hi everybody, my name is Heather Aston and this is my channel TT's Trinkets and Treasures. If you are new here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, thank you very much for your continued support. Either way, if you could like this video, if you are not a subscriber, could you please subscribe and change the bell notification to all so you don't miss any videos in the future, especially for the next 28 days. Okay, here's the deal, guys. Other than like Christmas and Father's Day, maybe some in there for Valentine's Day, there's not a lot of traction when it comes to finding men's jewelry designs. And I will say men's because most of these are gender neutral and can be swapped from like more masculine to femininity just with a change of the gemstone size, shape, whatever. So, but I'm going to be covering all of that over the next 28 days. You will get at least one video a day on a bracelet that I think would go great for men's. And you'll have plenty of options to choose from for Father's Day should you choose to make them jewelry. So this first one is actually for a little boy who saw some of my jewelry while his aunt was watching me on YouTube, Miss Brandy Michelle, and wanted a bracelet. And he likes black and white. So let's go down to the mat and I'll show you what we're doing here. Okay, so I'm going to use this black leather, which I cut too many, and I'm sorry. Hold on, this is a little low. Let me go right there. So there we go. Now more of it's covering. Okay, so, and now I forget what it's, oh, I cut too much leather here. I know. I'm going to use another piece of leather and we're going to macrame over the top of it so that there are knots in between the beads. And the beads we're using, they're beautiful. They're from Sam's Bead Shop and they are Tourmalinated, I can never say that word, quartz, large hole star cut beads, 8mm with a 2mm hole. And the price per bead breaks down to be 29 cents. So, because he likes black and white the most, I'm going to kind of pick through and try to find ones that have like more striping than the other, which I would hope that he would be happy to receive, and I'm sure he will be. Now, I think that should be enough, but if not, I've got a whole bunch more of them. Right over here. Sorry, I still have the sniffles, you guys. So these allergies are kicking my butt this year. Okay, so she said he has about an 8-inch wrist. So obviously I cut way too much. Why? I couldn't tell you, but I did. And then this I cut out to be a 24-inch strand of 1mm leather. And what we're going to do is we're going to start our knotting right at about 1.5 inches, and then we're going to go from there, and we're going to end, and this bracelet we're going to end it at 7.5 inches because we need room for the clasp. So I've already glued a cord end on. I did that in prep for this video. Sorry, I still have this on the desk. That would create confusion. So we're basically going to find the center point of our leather, wrong way, which is right about here. We're going to put the cord underneath the other leather and we can scoot the knot up, so don't worry about trying to be too perfect. Then you're going to put the left-handed cord over the center cord right here. Then you're going to take the other cord, you're going to go under, up through, and out. And now we're just trying to make sure that these ends are relatively the same. The first knot is always the most fiddly, but we want to, I did pretty good actually. We're just about even. Okay, like I said, we will move this up. Okay, when you're making these knots, especially if you're using a 1-inch millimeter leather like I am, I'm going to take these off the board so they don't keep rolling around. you're not going to want to pull too hard or you're going to snap your leather, and that is never any fun. But you do want it to be very taut. You don't want it to obviously look like it's about to fall apart in any section. So what I showed you was one half of the square knot, and now we need to do the other half. So we're going to go over the center cord like this, and then we're going to go up, under, and through. And as you can see, if I can get my fingers in there, you can see that the top knot has come a little loose. So we're just going to pull that taut and then finish the knot. So each square knot is going to look like this. If you have to get up and walk away at any point and you don't want to start completely over from scratch because you've forgotten which side you stopped on, I'm going to give you a little tip. Whichever side has the little bump right here is the side that you want to start with next. I will show you when we get to the other side. So again, we're going to go over the center cord. We're going to take this one over that cord and then up, through, and pull it through. And again, it's always a good idea to kind of knot the other one just to make sure. Now, you see how that bump is now on this side, which is the side we need to continue with. And then I'm thinking that I'm going to do maybe one more. I think I want 3 knots in between each of the stones. Or do we just want 2? Yeah, let's just do 2. I don't want to like cheap out on the number of stones. So let me measure this really quickly to make sure my knot's not quite. We want to go up just a little bit more. Right at 2. Oh, my glue just came out. Okay, well then, I will glue that back in at a later date and time. I should have used a different kind of glue than I did, but I didn't have any. So instead, I'm going to go through the leather if it will let me. Goodness gracious. That cork this leather is, well, it's from Leather Cord USA, so I'm not surprised that it's such a good quality leather, but there we go. I will cut that off and I will fix it later, or I'll use a different kind of cordon altogether if they're going to pop off like that. So we want this at about 1.5 inches, so we can pull it down just a tad bit, and then we should be there. And then we're simply going to string on one of our large hole beads, and then we're going to do 2 square knots. So we're going to go over, and then we're going to take this one over, under, and up through for the first side of the knot. And then you're going to go to the other side and do the same thing. Remembering to pull the knot above it taut, just like that. And then we're going to do another one. And ladies, you'll see that this doesn't have to be a men's jewelry bracelet. I would totally rock this. The only thing I might do is I might use like a rhinestone magnetic clasp, something like that, just to kind of bling it up. But if you're not into the bling, then you might think this is perfect as is. So we're going to go and put the next one on. We're going to come down the side, and we're just going to do 2 more square knots. And I'm hoping I cut enough leather. That's the only part that worries me. I didn't test this design out before I started recording. So let's hope that my measurements are indeed correct, which I'm pretty sure that they are. You never know. You never know. I've been macrameing for a long time, so I think I have this right. I'm only going to do, I think, probably 5 beads total. If we even need that, we might not need 5 of them. Okay, see what that just did? You just want to try and make sure that it doesn't get so taut that it comes forward like that. You want it to stay on around the center of the stone that you're working with. So we're going to pull that one, do one more. And I know I'm going a little fast through this part. I just want to make sure that I have the time to get this. I don't want these videos to be long because I want you guys to be able to like watch them, get the process down, and go about your day. Like, plus, I don't ever want to be redundant when I'm teaching because I know what that feels like. It's a delicate dance between not showing it enough and under teaching something, and then and like re-killing the same horse, which you shouldn't do anyways, but you know, I hope you understand what I see. Beating a dead horse, that's the term. Sorry, all you horse lovers out there, I just said that completely wrong. I think I did do just enough leather, so that's good. Because I said I wanted to do 5. This one isn't as, it doesn't have as much black on it, so I'm going to pull out another one just so that they all have some visual interest, and I might actually twist this one around a little bit if it will let me. That way the like striping is on the top part of the leather and not underneath. So, you know, I don't just realize that I didn't even ask Brandy the name of her nephew. I should have, since this video is for him. Well, the video, the leather bracelet, the, you know, whatever it is you want to say. And look, you guys, I think I got it just right. Even so, I'm glad that I am an experienced knotter because we're coming down to the end of these tails, and when they round up like that, it gets harder. Plus, this is the kind of leather that I'm not a big fan of using when I knot, and that is because it is shiny. They have put something over the top of it, and I'm not a big fan of it because they not slip out of these with this kind of leather very easily, and so I'm just not a big fan of using this, but it's okay. So then let's see where we are. Yep, we're gonna have another, pull that down a little bit, and then if we go another, I think, is this gonna be big enough for him? Oh, trying to think. I'm gonna have the clasp on it. If I go from the 4.5 down to the 6, I wonder if I can scooch this down ever so slightly. Just really carefully move it down a little bit at a time. Okay. Now I have that at about 2 inches. This comes down to the 5. Go 2 inches, 7 inches. I will have a clasp and a loop, and we're good. Okay. So I just did that very carefully. I probably should have walked you through what I was doing. But basically, I was started on the back just to make sure that my nail didn't mar the leather, like if my hand slipped or whatever. And I just slowly grabbed these top knots and pushed them down. And then I just slowly pulled each of the gemstones back. And I literally inched it just like that. That itty bit amount, I just inched it a little bit at a time because I didn't want it to happen. Now, unfortunately, I am out of my, oh my goodness, Gorilla Glue that I typically use for these. So there are several different kinds of things. There are several things that we could have done with this. I could have put a loop on the end of it and then just attached one of these hooks, and we would have been, or some other clasp of some sort, and we would have been good. But that's not the way that I planned this. So unfortunately, all I'm going to do to finish off this bracelet, guys, is I'm going to put on the cord ends correctly this time. Let me see if there's anything. I brought my cord ends. Let me see. I might have what I need right here. Let's see here. Indeed, I do. Okay, we are going to finish off this bracelet after all. Because that was so smart of me to bring that in here. I didn't think I had any of these left. Okay, so these are a really great cord end, because that ruler is causing my camera to not want to focus. Because you put your cord end all the way in, and you see the ends right there. And if you've watched me for long enough, you know that I'm going to tan the end of this, and just so that the white doesn't stick up too bad. And you want to tan it though. You don't want it to get burnt. Just tan it a little bit so that it's not white sticking out of the end of it. And then we are going to put this on our piece of leather. Make sure that it's right at the top of that. Like, you want to be able to see it right there. I just don't like to see bare leather. That's all. Sorry, guys. My sniffles are bad. Okay. And then you're going to take a pair of pliers. And I like to use these pliers because they have a very narrow point. Another really good one are the green-handled Xuron pliers. These ones, because they have an even finer point than these, but I like these ones seem to be stronger to me, and I could be crazy, and that's not at all the case. But okay, I'm going to turn this. Wait, is that what I want to do? No, let's just leave it on straight, Heather. Anyways, you're going to go into the center point right here. Not the part of it with dots around the edge, but just right there. You're going to want to get your pliers in there, and you're going to want to squeeze. Oh, I know why I have these left, because they're hard for me to do. So, anybody else with dexterity issues, here's my little tip. I put the handle of the pliers down up against that before I go to push, and I push against that. And then it is on there, going nowhere. So before we do the other side, we've got to figure out how we're going to close this off. Now, you can just use glue, but with this, I'm wondering if I wouldn't rather just had it glued to the back right there and pull the other part up and glue this part to the back. I may do that and then use one of my little clippies to hold it in place while it dries. And then trim off I'm sorry, guys. This is on the back. I would just crisscross over like that. Put one of my little sewing clippy things that I love to use, because bead bugs are hard for me to use with my own dexterity issues. So I'll glue it and then clip it into place right here. But let's go ahead and finish off the other end. So I can bring my ruler back in. Hopefully it doesn't cause issues. Okay, so now this is going to be right at the top, and that's where you want it, so that you can measure out to 5 inches as well. So right here would be 7 inches. So I'm going to cut my leather right there. Yes, yes, yes. No. Measure twice, cut once, right? Yeah, right there is going to be perfect. Okay, we're going to, okay, do you see this, guys? You see how it's white? That is what I'm tanning. So I'm just taking my thread burner, letting it get hot, and then I'm just kind of dabbing it across the top until you no longer see the white and it becomes tanned. Just like you would tan any other leather items. I know that a lot of people like to use Sharpie. I stopped using a Sharpie after my son complained about it turning his wrist black, wearing it in the Arizona heat. So I don't do that anymore. Okay, again, we're going to want to put this up, not to where it's sticking out, but to where you can see the top of the leather right inside. I'm hoping you guys are going to be able to see that right there. You can see it at the end. That way you have plenty of leather for this to grip onto. I'm going to make sure this is facing the right way real quick before I do my first squeeze. And it fell out. Okay, let's see here. I want it right here. And I'm going to squeeze. And then I'm going to turn to the other side and squeeze. Okay, there we go. Now we have our cord ends on. I'm going to mess with the glue off screen because I don't want it all over my board. And because of my allergy issues, I have to put stuff on my fingers. It's not cute. It's okay. But let's go ahead and put on a jump ring. And because this is for a little, I'm going to want it to be a very strong one. And then we will also add a clasp to it, which I believe I have right here. Do I not? I might. I don't know about you guys, but I become extremely aware of how many times I say the word not whenever I'm knotting in a project. I feel like I say it 100 times. Oh my goodness, Heather. Why are you so unprepared? You know what's going to happen. What's going to happen is the second I pause my camera, I'm going to find what it is I'm looking for, because that happens to me all the time. You know what? I'm going to do one of my little class tricks that I do, because that will be best. And this is 20 gauge. Yeah, let's stick with 20 gauge. I think 18 gauge is way too chunky. So we're just going to pull off, I don't know, more than we normally would. So probably an inch and a half or so. Yeah, an inch and a half works. We're going to grab it. The first end, I'm not positive that's flush cut, so we'll flush cut it. Okay, so what we're going to do once I get all this off my mat so that the camera isn't trying to focus where it's not supposed to, I'm going to take my round nose pliers. These are Beads with micro ends, so they are very short, like much smaller than most pliers. So that's why I'm going up a little bit to get a knot. And then I'm going to curl it around until it touches the other side. And I'm okay with that loop. I don't think that it's too, like, it doesn't look like a P to me, but I do like to notch it back just ever so slightly to get it. Heather can't talk today. I don't know what I was going to say now. I'm so sorry, you guys. I hope you understand how much I hate when this happens. It's my Durkheim's. I know that. I know this is going to be a thing, but when I get flustered and cannot remember, when I can't remember things, I get flustered. So it's annoying. So you're going to face your loop, your first loop away from you, and you're going to push the wire up, over, and across. Now we're going to pull this and rotate it ever so slightly just so we can get the wire just down past the loop. Then you're going to want to take a pair of pliers and you're going to go around once and then once more. And I do this so that, yes, this end is a simple loop, but it is so nestled in those wraps that it's not going to come apart as easily as your traditional simple loop. And then the other side where they're going to be clasping into is a wrapped loop. So it's more secure than your standard like S hook or whatever. And then you're just going to cut off the excess. Make sure you don't have any sticky outies, because you don't want to hurt anybody. Then you're just going to make sure that your loops are parallel. And then we're just going to open the simple loop, attach it into one of these hooks, and then we're going to go in and we're going to close the simple loop. If the thing will get out of my way so I can see where my wire is. There it is. And then you just want to make sure that you get it back into that nestled area. And then I will put come on, Heather, you've got to have a lobster claw right here somewhere. At least I'd hope so. This is from when I did all of that shopping to test out Hobby Lobby's brands. There's a gold one, but I don't want a gold one. I didn't want to do one of the little hooks. Oh, here's one. Huh. That looks a little bit feminine to me, but I'm going to keep that out for possibly the next video. Because I still want to have other content throughout this, so that's why I'm hoping that I will be able to knock out quite a few of these and then just schedule post them, and then I'll still have other content along the way. You guys, I'm so sorry for being disorganized this morning. I really thought that they were right here next to me, so I didn't go grab any. And it looks like I probably should have. Let me see. Is there one in here? Wait, is that I think that's the one. I might have found one, guys. Let's see here. This is gonna drive me crazy. You guys, I swear they were right here. I'm too embarrassed to show you my mess, but everything gets put right at the front of my bead mat, and I'm not always the best at clearing it off when I finish a project. So, guys, I'm not seeing any, and I don't want to do just a hook. I have hook clasps right here that I could use, but I want it to be more secure than one of just like my standard little figure 8 hooks. So hold on one second. I'm going to find this because this I could not find it to save my life just now. So let's make sure that the clasp is a functioning clasp, and it is. And then we're going to hook this one on with a jump ring, and I'm wondering if I should do it. She said that she would. I'm going to do another one of these hooks on the other side, which I'll hook the clasp into so that it's nice and strong. Grab another 1.5 inches of wire. Double flush cutters. Okay, again, we want this big enough to hold, to like go over the top of that hook, but not so much that it's too bulky looking, like that. Then we're going to face this away from us. And we're going to go up, over, and down, tilt it up ever so slightly. But before we wrap, we need to slide that into place, and then I hope this process will still work with that in there. Just because I'm hoping it's still going to let me like wrap around the simple loop part well. And it's not holding on very tightly. So there's one. And there's two. Woohoo! We learned that this will in fact work even if you put something down in the loop. I was afraid that was about to be an epic fail. I will not lie to you folks. I really did think that that was going to like just fall apart at the last instant right there. Okay, we're going to tuck that in. Actually, I don't like the way that loop looks. It doesn't look sturdy, and I don't want this. It's for a young man, so, you know, we don't want him to break it and then feel bad. And if I was smart, I would have used my stainless steel wire to do this, but I didn't think of that until just now. We're going to go again, do the loop again. We're going to take this, face the loop away from us, come up and around the second barrel till we just pass that ever so slightly, pull it up, and then we are going to have to take it off in order to put the clasp on. Just like you would with any other loop, you want to swing it open, not pull it apart. And then we're going to want to reclose that. Ugh, how did I do that last time? Oh, I know what I did. I went into the one. That's what I did. I went to the first step so that I had room. That's what I did. And then we're just going to grab the wire. And we're going to, if my hands will cooperate with me, go around once and twice. Pull it off. There we go. I'm going to cut this wire off. It looked like I had started to cut the loop as well. And I was like, nope, that's not at all what we want to do. So then we're just going to open up our simple loop, thread it on to the other cord end, and then close this up and make sure that you get that end up and inside those wraps so that it's a little bit stronger. Now, I know I still need to finish the leather part, but here you go, guys. Here is our first men's design in the daily 28 designs in 28 days. I hope that you guys will enjoy this series. Please hit like, maybe leave me a comment. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'd love to have you as part of my community. And also, we have an amazing Facebook community called Beading Besties. It doesn't belong to any one channel, and it is an outlet for you there's a group message for each of the 50 states, and then one for US territories as well. And I'm hoping that you guys will either find people to meet up with in person, set up your own little group chat with friends you already have out in the world of beading, and you can bead virtually or in person. But I just want the community to feel that much closer to an outside community, especially for those of us who deal with chronic pain and who sometimes just the thought of getting ready for the day is enough to turn down an invitation. So that's what it is all about. I really hope you guys are going to enjoy this series. And as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. In the meantime, happy beading.